and welcome to our next installment of In Conversation with. Today, I have Carlos from Vibe Imaging Analytics. Welcome, Carlos.
Thank you very much, Anna, for having me. Nice to be here.
Of course, nice to meet you too. So can you tell me who is Vibe Imaging Analytics and what do you guys do?
Okay, so Vibe Imaging Analytics is a food tech company based in California. So we've been in business for around a bit over 10 years. And in short, what we do is we develop computer vision systems for quality control in food. In other terms, we develop imaging tools that basically instrument that take high resolution pictures of food samples, and then our software processes those images for information. What information? It's anything in the visible range. So basically sizes, colors, surface, dimensions, and things like this. So it's basically quality control for physical quality in food. So it can be anything from kernels, seeds, but also byproducts such as powders or blends and things like that.
Okay, and do you work with food manufacturers saying, hey, this is what we expect, this is what is great to be like on the shelf online, to consumers?
Yeah, so basically what we have different segments, so just to clarify, so Vibe generically, we work in computer vision in many different segments. We're more focused on the agriculture and food supply chain. That's how we came on hemp, and I'm gonna get into in a bit. But basically in food, we have like three segments. So basically we work with breeders and crop science organizations. So our tool is a great tool for phenotyping of seeds specifically. So basically people that are doing hemp, industrial hemp breeding, they can use our imaging tool for what we call digital phenotyping, which is basically you put seed lots in our equipments, and the equipment will analyze the physical traits of the seeds, each one in seconds, and provide high-level analytics related on the size, shape patterns, color, damages, diseases, anything that you can check on the visible spectrum, we will report. And this can be a very interesting tool for breeders to complement their data set when they're doing breeding exercises, right? So it depends a bit on the seed and also on the segment, but that's one. Secondly, we work with grain processors. In this case would be hemp seed processors that will use the hemp seed for seed oil, hearts, and things like this. So it's a great tool for incoming grain from the fields to detect unwanted impurities with high objectivity, color groups, any damages, sizing. So it depends a bit on the processor and also on the commodity, but it's definitely a good tool for grain processors when they're receiving grain from the fields, and also to have like a good quality control on the process. Like for example, hemp hearts, different colors from white to different damages and so on. And lastly, our instrument is also used by food manufacturers. So it can be the people that buy the hemp hearts, for example, and make it into protein powders, or maybe they use the hemp and blend it with other grains. So it's also a tool that works for that. So it can analyze the blend percentage, how much percentage of hemp or rice in the sample. Yeah. It's a very, very diverse tool. So basically what we do is we target each segment and try to understand what are the main pain points for each, and try to provide a solution that is easy and practical.
No, that's great because, with hemp grain, it is, considered generally recognized as safe. Yeah, can you tell us how Vibe came about, into working with hemp grain?
Yeah, so like historically, when talking about agriculture and food, we started working mostly with like more traditional crops, very strongly on rice, for example, wheat. Those were like our main focuses during our first 5 years, I would say. And more recently, like less than a year ago, we start to read about hemp and hemp grain, and about how this industry is growing more towards grain and fiber a bit more than other, like before used to think hemp and it's like cannabinoids, but then we started to learn about this and we started to meet few people and in the industry, and we saw that there was a very interesting opportunity. Well, first, because hemp is a very new industry, so there's a lot of standards that had not been developed because basically it was illegal before, right? So there's a lot of things that can be explored and a lot to path to be covered. And we saw that the instrument provided a very specific thing, which is basically it can provide a very thorough analysis on the color of the seeds. So basically, when you have hemp seeds and you're analyzing the quality, a human inspector, there's only so much information that they can gather and process and discern, because we have certain limitations in terms of biological terms. So the thing about imaging tools, it can have a very, very high detail description of the color components of each seed. And then you can see the patterns and say, okay, from these 1,000 seeds that you have in the sample, what percentage has this range of color or this range of color? And then you can group those and try to find interesting correlations and ways to improve your process and quality and so on. So in general, the way we approach the grain industry, we provide a solution that has 3 benefits. That's the way I like to summarize. Obviously, it's the speed at which you can analyze samples. So you reduce from 20 to 30 minutes what it takes an inspection to check on the sample. You reduce it to 20 to 30 seconds, right? Using very high level analytics. There's also, secondly, a precision component, which is basically you will get more consistency on your results because there is no subjectivity factor, there is no environmental factor, so it's very controlled environment, so you will get more consistency and precision. But I think those two are second to the third one, which is basically the data that you can get from this type of technology. And that's, I think, the step forward that this technology can bring into grain, and in particularly hemp grain operations, is a higher level of understanding on the colors, on the sizes, on the shapes, and what this means in terms of quality and yield, basically. Right. So the way we see it is more like we provide a tool, and we like to, and this tool will enable people to have more information at a more consistent rate. It's not like when I just started like a year, less than a year ago in Vibe. So, but one of the things that we try to communicate a lot is the technology is not meant to replace people, but rather to enhance what we get from inspecting samples. So higher level data, it means better communication, more information for decision making, improving yield and quality. So that's a bit of the way we have approached it, the hemp industry. And we've been focusing more on hemp seeds, hemp hearts, and now we're seeing some interest also in the fiber, to measure the fiber, impurities in the fiber, dust percentage, and things like this. So it's a very flexible technology. You can basically there's a working area, and anything that fits in there, you can basically analyze for physical characteristics. So it depends a bit on each segment, but we're trying to develop something that works. And particularly in hemp, I think there is a lot that can be done, and we were happy to try to do something good.
No, and that's great because, like you said, it's a nascent industry, and I think this is highly beneficial to breeders, especially like, like you said, color difference, patterns and whatnot. And, because of, let's say, if it's a little bit darker or even, I don't even know if smoother is one, how is that going to end result when it's in the ground?
Yes, exactly.
So do you do any follow-up, like once it leaves, the machine? Like, do you follow up with, where it goes or anything like that? Like, let's say a breeder is like, oh, this is great information. Do you do a follow-up on anything like that and collect data from them?
So it depends a lot on the client and the customer. Some people like to work with us and maybe do joint projects. There's a number of research papers in which Vibe was used for seed phenotyping or seed-borne disease detection and things like this. I guess it would depend a bit on the organization and if they want to collaborate with us. But sometimes it's just, okay, how much is the equipment? Okay, we'll get it. And we train them, and then they know how to use it. It's not like service dependent product. Right. It's you have possibility to be as independent or as collaborative with us as you want. Like one good maybe example is we did a research project with many universities on detecting fusarium in wheat. So fusarium is like I think it's a fungi. Like I said, not a very technical person, more like business, but it's like a fungi. And we developed a solution to be able to consistently be able to identify this at very low levels in wheat. So, and this is a huge deal, for example, in the wheat supply chain. So that's one example. In the hemp industry, we're just starting. So like I said, like 6-8 months ago, we started to connect with people and we saw that there was interest. And it was also exciting because there's so much changing in the industry, and there's this huge thing about the exemption going, right? The
industrial
regulatory, the regulatory environment that is changing. So I thought we thought it was interesting to be here because it's like a new, vibrant, and with a high potential industry, right, for many different segments. So that's a bit how we came upon. But we are very early stages still. But we are doing some work on phenotyping of seeds, also on hearts, measure color quality, impurities, things like this.
So hemp was easily integrated into your system. There wasn't much modification.
Well,
or
I would have to ask our tech team because I know they did quite a bit of development on because the hemp seed is very different from what we're used to. But I wouldn't say easily integrated, but it was integrated with certain knowledge that we had, and also with the new knowledge that we were gathering, conversating with different stakeholders on what is important, what isn't important when you're talking about the seed quality, about the heart quality. So there's a lot of stuff that we still need to understand. But yes, it was very interesting for us to move into this segment, and we're trying to gauge what is the most important thing and then focus on that.
Which I think it's, quite important that, this, instrument exists, because with our climate change, I feel like, breeders in agriculture in general have to breed for maybe new pests, different, drastic climate, maybe make this certain seed more drought resistant or pest resistant, things like that. And I think, it'll just evolve, and having your instrument be able to detect disease, at a certain percentage and amount is quite incredible. And it does save time, versus having a human inspector, go through with this, let's say, conveyor, and just like, oh no,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so there is definitely a very, very interesting space to be in. Like personally, I was very impressed with everything that is being done on hemp and the diversity of the product. So that's, I think, ethically also something that we're very aligned with, like environmentally friendly, many different applications. So farmers have a lot of options as well. Of course, there's a lot of things that need to change there, but I came more from the grain industry. I used to work with quinoa before for many years, and just seeing this like plant and how many other applications it has. It's like, for example, fiber, hempcrete, biochar, and all of these verticals that are being developed around the hemp. It just seemed for us like something that we would wanted to be a part of. And so far, it's been very interesting to talk with folks in the grain fiber space, and just everyone's excited and trying to do something new, and I think it's for us very, very interesting, because we're also not new, but we're a relatively new company with a new technology, and it's a very innovative way of doing quality control in food, but not only in food. So it seemed we were very much like the hemp industry, if that means, if you understand what I mean.
Yeah. So are you guys slowly then kind of like building standards as you go when it comes to hemp and like quality control?
Yeah, so the way we do is we don't have any real authority to build the standards, but what we do is provide visibility. And then, for example, help people, and one of our goals is to coordinate and collaborate with people to develop digital standards. So the way we work at Vibe, and our main dream and goal is for each of the segments that we're working is to develop digital standards. What do I mean? For example, what is different shades of whites that are from good to bad, like what is a good hemp seed or a good hemp heart in terms of color? So it's very subjective, but with machine and computer vision, you are able to quantify this and put it into numbers and say, okay, we have this type of heart is what is considered good quality. So the color has a certain range, is a certain whiteness to it, and we are able to measure it. And this heart, which is a bit more orange and has this level of quality. So there is already standards of, obviously there's internal, and I think a few organizations are working on a number of standards, but what we want to do is provide visibility on what is not possible to collect with the human eyes. So it's basically pixel by pixel on each seed. So very, very high analytics on each of the seeds that you put in the sample. So it will provide like a new layer of data that then we can use and collaborate with stakeholders to build something that makes sense. So there is clear communication between the farmer, the processor, and the food manufacturer. What is considered a good batch? What is not considered a good batch? And in hemp, this is particularly present in the color parameters. So, like different colors of seeds and different things like this. I have just one slide that I wanted to show just to exemplify this. I don't know if I can share it with you.
Let me see. Okay, you should have the ability.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. So you see, for example, here we have 4 kinds of hemp heart samples, like going from very good quality to lower quality. You can tell that. But what is very difficult here is being able to fully quantify and say, okay, this certain hearts are whiter than others, therefore they have higher quality, or certain hearts are darker than others and therefore have lower quality. But it's difficult to quantify this. So basically what our technology does, I clicked the wrong one, is being able to do something like this. So this is the interface of our software. And basically what we do here is the sample of hemp hearts that is put in the instrument, and then we can create, for example, different color groups, right? So for example, one for sound hearts, like one for light green, olive green, dark gold. These are arbitrary. There's nothing like set in stone. We can discuss this, but it's basically provides better visibility on what the quality of the product is in terms of color. And this is not something that has not been done because it's very difficult to do so with human inspections, because it's very subjective and you have no way of knowing exactly what color the seed is because of the lighting conditions, because of subjectiveness or things like this. So this is just to provide a bit more certainty and better communication across different segments, like I said, growers, processors, and so on.
Okay, and underneath that, where it said like name and weight, the technical team would insert that.
Sorry, can you say that again?
What was under you had a section on the right hand side, it had the name, like you had descriptions of the color, and it would be your team that would insert all that. Okay. And then
no, it's the customer that defines that. So we say, okay, these are the ranges of colors, and the customer says, okay, for me, this is important, like dark green, white, and it depends a bit on what you want to do, but we provide the tools, and since it's software based, we can tweak it, we can change the language, the name of the parameters, we can customize it based on each customer. So it's not set in stone. It's very, very malleable in terms of what the thresholds are, the classes, and so on.
Okay, so if I was a farmer or a breeder, and I was like, hey, I got this shipment of grain seeds from Europe, and I would like to learn more about it, I would contact you, do I send the seeds over to you, or how does it work? Or do I purchase the machine? and the technology?
Oh,
How does it work?
um, it depends a bit on the project, but typically customers buy the instrument and they use it for themselves. We
Mm-hmm.
do have a few leasing options or analyze at our offices also. But it depends. We're very flexible. We're also a small company, so we're used to like being a bit more creative on some things, and whatever in any way we can help, we just want to help, like bring this technology into the mainstream and what it can do for the hemp industry.
Okay. Can you describe what, your machine looks like and like kind of give us a visual walkthrough
Yeah,
from,
sure.
let's say I purchased a machine or whatnot.
Yeah, no, just 1 second. I have it here. So this is it. So basically you have, it's a very small, like it's like a computer,
Mhm.
so it's a desk sized. Basically you have the computer on the bottom. Here you have a sample area. That's where you put the samples of seeds, hearts, fiber, whatever you want. And this is light control. So basically you push this down and the computer is you have a built-in computer, so the software is already there, and basically you connect it to a monitor and just analyze it, and we provide the training and the calibration templates and so on. The cool thing about this instrument, I would say, is that it requires no maintenance, and
Okay.
all of the support and calibration is done remotely. So basically we ship via DHL, customers put it in their desk, plug it into the internet, to a monitor, a keyboard, and we're good to start. So basically that it was made to be easy to use, easy for everything.
Yeah,
So
user
pretty,
friendly, absolutely.
yeah. If I can add something more, it's like, this is like, I don't know, maybe that I shouldn't say that here. I'm not sure. Maybe I should ask.
Okay.
Just kidding.
Okay, that's great. Is there anything else that you'd like our viewers to learn more about Vibe Imaging Analytics, and where can they find you guys?
Yeah. So you guys can find us on LinkedIn, or we have also our webpage, vibeai.com. AI, no, ia.com, sorry. So yeah, no, we're happy to be here, happy to help. We're working particularly on hemp food at the moment. We're focused on that. So anyone that is working with hemp seeds or hemp grain is welcome to contact us. We're looking at different ways of helping the industry. So I don't want to close the doors too much. We're just
Just
happy
on the
to,
grade, because you said you mentioned other verticals too,
yeah.
on the herd side, and even on biochar, there's other, standardization for that too. So it's
Mhm.
great that you guys are quite open
Yes.
in what your software can do.
Yes, and what I would say is that as a company and in terms of value, what we like to do is like like to help each of the industries we're working with. And the way we do is basically through our technology. And our technology, what brings is visibility in terms of quality. And that can have a huge impact in communication in the industry, in
Hmm.
standards, but also in profitability. So a lot of this information can be used to improve production processes and things like this. We know this because we've done similar things in rice, and um, with this kind of data and with this kind of analytics on the quality of the seeds and the product, you are able to make a lot of decisions that
Projections.
you were not able to make, not only in terms of projections, but also in terms of process. Like,
Hmm.
where do I allocate this product, or this product will be better for this application, or
Hmm.
maybe I should reject it, or maybe this has a certain damage that I wasn't aware of. So we provide visibility, we provide good technology and good service, and we like to just help. That's, I would say, our motto. And like to keep it simple also.
Yes. All right. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, so listeners, followers, please visit Vibe Image Analytics.ai.
It's
And
vibeai.com.
okay, vibeai.com. And do you guys offer demos too?
Yes, yes.
Okay, wonderful. If you want to see how it works, give Carlos a call and ask for a demo. And if there's anything else you'd like to add, yeah,
No, thank you very
yeah.
much to the National Hemp Association for this space. And we're happy to support you and the hemp industry in the United States. And we look forward to see the bill, the Exemption Act passed, and to see where this goes.
Thank you so much, Carlos. You have a wonderful
Thank you
day.
so much. Yeah, you too. Bye-bye.